Now then, welcome back to the Route 1 Football Podcast. My name's Olly.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're back for the 7th episode of our Premier League-based podcast. Things are starting to pick up a bit now. We managed to get back on the Twitter. We're back in the studio on a Tuesday evening like we're supposed to be. So I've not had any slip-ups this week, thankfully. So
yeah, it's nice to be back on a Tuesday for a change, isn't it?
Yeah,
a bit different on the Thursday.
Back in the proper studio. Has anyone done anything fun this weekend?
Went to the ice hockey. Followed off from what you did the previous weekend, and do you know what? It's really good fun.
Yeah, me and Ryan
really
enjoyed it
fun.
when we went, didn't we, Ryan?
Yeah, it was good. Something new.
Yeah.
I know you're doing a participation piece, aren't you?
Hopefully, hopefully I'll be giving a bash at ice hockey this week at some point.
I don't want to come and see you just fall over, to be honest.
It should be a good bit of entertainment. Again, I want to say this week, if you are listening, just to make a sign, say something, say what you liked, say what you didn't like, because we want to try and get a bit more interaction. Yeah, we had that poll on our Twitter, which got a bit of interaction, so we know there is people out there. So now we're back on the Twitter.
Make yourself known.
Yeah, we can reply to you, we can talk to you and try and improve, so that'll be nice. But anyway, we'll get into my quiz, because I've finally managed to get it prepared after a little bit of a delay.
Right, what are the current scores on the quiz? Because I know you're kind of, aren't you winning it, I think?
Yeah, but because of a rig last week, I'm now only on 3 points.
Rig.
We all know about this rig, we won't speak about it.
We don't know what you're on about, mate. Never happened. Lost podcast.
Well, yeah, I'm still on 3. Used to on 1, and now because of Rob last week, the visitors have 1.
Ah.
We're going to have to step out.
Yeah, we really are. If
You
we
need
start
to
getting
win,
beat by the visitors, that's poor.
Anyway, first round, as always, I know you like it. We'll go with a Who Am I?
So, go on. Let's hear it.
First one, I have played with Gareth Bale, Steven Pienaar, Lazar Markovic, and Wayne Rooney.
Oh, fuck me.
This is one of the hard ones, actually. I was meant to do this one
What are we giving ourselves? What, like minute time limit-ish? For,
maybe a bit less.
I guess.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. I'll get a timer going.
Lazar Markovic, where's he?
Are you doing it without writing them down, Jake?
I don't have a pen, to be honest with you, so did not come to
I'd lend you, but I want to win, so fuck you.
Suck your mum.
Not long left now, Ryan. 5 more seconds.
So Rooney, Markovic, Bale, and
Rooney, Markovic, Bale, and Steven Pienaar.
Pienaar. Fucking hell.
Alright, time's up. Let's have a guess from both of you.
Fellaini.
Nope.
I've got nothing. I genuinely don't know.
Next clue. I made 44 Premier League appearances and 1 for my country, where I picked up an assist.
God.
This is a really hard one to start with.
No
Fucking
shit.
hell.
No shit. I haven't even got I haven't got like a shout or anything for it. Played for my country and got 1 assist, 44 games in the Prem.
5 more seconds. Have a guess from both of you, please.
Umar Nias.
Nope. Good shout.
I've got nothing. Like, I can't think.
Alright, this third clue. This might be one that gives it away. I retired in 2018 after a serious injury, aged 27.
What? I have nothing.
Am I going to have to think?
Oh, Ryan Mason.
Yep. Ryan Mason.
It's all because of Markovic at Hull.
Markovic at Hull.
Yeah. Markovic at Hull, Rooney for his appearance with England, Steven Pienaar at Tottenham, and Gareth Bale at Tottenham.
That's a good one, to be fair.
He's played for England.
Yeah, 1 appearance. Got an assist against Italy.
What?
Drew 1-1.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. Slightly easier one for the second one. I have played with Sean Wright-Phillips, Moussa Sissoko, and Cesc Fabregas.
I don't know who Wright Phillips has played for a start.
I kind of forgot he existed till I was doing this.
What's your Wright Phillips?
Yeah.
Hey, his dad's on the jungle at the minute.
Yeah. Brother's just left. Is it his brother? Is
Yeah.
Bradley Wright Phillips' brother just left New York Red Bulls? Anyway, 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a guess.
I have nothing.
Nothing.
Jovetic.
Nope.
I can't think. It's paining me not being able to write it down in a minute. Hold on, I'm going to start noting it down on my phone.
Second clue. I have 1 Premier League winners' medal, and I have scored 28 goals in 79 appearances in the Premier League.
Phew.
So Fabregas, Wright Phillips, and
Cesc Fabregas. Oh, wait, who did you say?
Fabregas, Wright Phillips.
Oh, and Moussa Sissoko.
So he's got a winner's medal and he scored
28 in 79. Pretty good return.
Oh,
Demba Ba.
Loic Remy.
Yep.
What? Who?
Loic Remy.
Get him!
Thought it was Demba Ba.
I was thinking bad, but I was like, no, he hasn't played with Sean Wright Phillips.
QPR.
QPR, Sean Wright Phillips, Moussa Sissoko at Newcastle, and Cesc Fabregas.
Demba
You need
Ba
all
had
3
everything
points,
but-
Mr. Jake.
Demba Ba had everything but the fucking Wright
One
Phillips.
is Premier League's winners' medal at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a hard one. I'd be very surprised if you got 3
Get
points on
him.
this, Jake.
Hey, strangers
Straight-
things
yeah,
happen.
that's
Hey,
what I
do
was
we not
gonna
remember
say.
Victor
Yeah.
Anichebe?
Third question.
Can we have a minute for this, please?
Who am I? I have played with El Hatch Diouf, Yuri Zirkov, and John Terry.
El Hadj Diouf, John Terry, and Yuri Zhirkov.
Yeah.
Um,
Time has started. It's hard to know how hard they are when you're giving them out, but I know
Yeah,
I
it
can
really
tell
is.
this one's hard though.
Nicholas Anelka.
Nope.
That's me out.
5 seconds, Jake.
I thought I had a minute on this one.
Screw
Go on,
up.
give me
Get
give me
out.
We
time.
ain't got time
I
for
need
that.
to make
Get
up
out.
points
We've
here.
got plenty.
That's your own fault, your own doing.
People want to listen to more interesting things than you
Oh,
think. 5.
My
4,
thoughts are great.
3,
Um,
2, 1. Let's have a guess. No, I'm going to have to move on.
Nothing.
Second clue. I have been managed by Sam Allardyce, Harry Redknapp and Steve Bruce, all at different clubs.
And Harry Redknapp was that?
Yeah. Sam Allardyce, Harry Redknapp, Steve Bruce, all at different clubs.
Gary Cahill.
Nope.
Oh, I rushed him. I'm just thinking about Bolton. That's all I'm thinking of. Bolton and Chelsea.
Um,
5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nico Kranjčar.
Nope.
Nope.
Not a bad guess. Final clue. You might get it on this one. I can see it happening. I was signed by a struggling Premier League team in January 2013 for 12.5 million, but failed to keep them in the league after some poor performances.
2013 for a struggle.
The signing was heavily criticised.
Heavily criticised. Oh wow.
Oh, Ryan's really
Um,
stumped by that one.
boom. Samuel Eto'o.
Nope.
Nope. Ah.
What the fuck are you on?
John Terry at Chelsea, Zhirkov as well, and then he got signed by, I don't know, fuck knows.
Chelsea and Everton?
Everton, yeah, struggling Premier League side. The fuck knows. I don't know.
12.5 million.
I thought you might get it after that one.
I don't fucking know anymore. These two, I might as well do my head in.
I'll pass, I don't know.
So am I just going to have to give you the answer?
Yeah.
The answer was Chris Samba. LH Diouf at Blackburn,
Yeah.
Yuri Zirkov at Anzi Makalakalaka, and John Terry at Aston Villa.
No,
I
Chris
wouldn't
Samba
have got-
came into my mind when you first said it, but I just didn't. I don't know.
And John
I
Terry
didn't
was,
know
I think,
whether
the
he
one that
played
would
with
have thrown
Aston
you.
Villa.
Why was I thinking of
I didn't
strikers
know
all
whether
along?
he played at Aston Villa.
Yeah, I kind of forgot.
I-
That's
I-
Aston Villa. Genuinely.
I wouldn't have
Sam
got that
McCain's
no matter how long
A
I
hard
thought it
one
was.
this
So
week.
annoying.
That was a hard one.
I could have had 3 points there.
If anyone listening did get that,
Fuck's sake.
fair play, because there were some hard
You're
ones.
a sad cunt. What?
I thought I'd test you, but we'll move on. Ryan wins that round. Well done, Ryan.
So 1-0 Ryan.
And this week I've done a bit of a Champions League based quiz, like English teams in the Champions League, obviously, because it's Champions League this week. So I'm going to want you to buzz in for these.
Is this just question answer kind of thing?
Yeah. So I'm going to need a buzz and then your answer fairly sharpish. So the first round is based on the 2008 final between Chelsea and Manchester United.
Christ.
First question: who won the UEFA Man of the Match?
Buzz. Van der Sar.
Correct.
Fuck's sake.
Fair play. I didn't think you'd get that. That's good. Second question on the 2008 Champions League final: which 3 players missed penalties in the shootout?
Buzz, Ronaldo, Anelka, and Terry.
Woohoo! 2 to Jake. Fair play. Next round. Maybe you'll
Closet United fan, aren't I?
maybe you'll do a bit better on this one. Again, 2008. I didn't realise this was the same year. Liverpool beat Arsenal 4-2 in a quarter-final second leg at Anfield. What was the aggregate score?
5-3. Bowes 5-3.
Ryan, 5-3. Now, this one, I'll give you a point for each of them. And it can hand over to the other person if you get one wrong. Name the scorers in the 4-2 game.
Buzz.
Ryan.
Sami Hufia, Abu Diaby, Fernando Torres, Emmanuel Adebayor, Ryan Babel, Stephen Gerrard.
Serious?
Fair play. Fair
Fuck
play.
me. Do I not get points for all 3 of the fucking penalty misses now? This is a joke.
Do I get points for all that?
I don't know, looking at that, probably actually Jake makes a good point.
Yeah, he
I was
should.
going to say, like,
he can
that's
get all 3 for
complete,
his.
like, VAR's needing to come in here.
No, I'm just going to give you a point for each.
So,
I don't want to... I feel like that's fair.
what's that?
So, Ryan... Oh, Jake took both the first 2 questions. Ryan took both the second 2. So it is Jake 2, Ryan 2.
So if I got Abu Diaby.
I couldn't have named Torres, and that was probably about
Third
it.
topic for this round. It is the Bayern 1, Chelsea 1, 2012 final.
Fuck.
Oh.
First question. Where was it held?
Buzz, Munich.
Yep. Ryan.
Fair play.
Next question. This is a good little tiebreaker. This. I'll let you both. This you don't need to buzz in for this one. What minute did Drogba score a header to equalise?
Is it closest gets
Yeah,
it?
closest gets it. In what minute did Didier Drogba score a header to equalise?
I'm going to say 118th.
Did he score an extra time?
Mm.
I'm going to go for 117th.
What did you say?
18th.
It's the 88th minute.
So I'm closer.
Oh.
I thought it was
I thought it was an extra time.
I thought it wasn't, hence why I was. But since you said, but I was like, it must have been extra time.
I thought it was.
So Ryan has won the quiz this week.
Get
It's
in.
2-0 after winning the first 2 rounds, but we'll do the third round. It's
I need pride there. Fuming with that.
I want to do this in a bit of a different way. We could hot potato it, but I'm expecting quite a lot of wrong answers. So I'm going to let you answer like individually, and as soon as you get one wrong, it changes over to the other person. So it is Champions League all-time top scorers, and I want players that are in the top 10.
Oh, okay.
So what? How's it working?
Is this like what's that?
So
fucking,
I'll
is this
let
tenable
Jake
thing?
I'll let Jake start.
It's like that. Is this like that quiz tenable on telly?
I've never heard of it, but
It's the one
maybe.
with the what the hell's the fella's name? I can't even think of his name. So Champions League
Sounds
top
good.
goals.
Yeah, top 10 all-time Champions League scorers, and I'll let Jake start since he's lost the first 2 rounds.
Messi,
Yeah.
Ronaldo,
Raul,
Yep.
Benzema,
Yep.
Van Nistelrooy.
Yep.
Rooney,
No.
Henry.
No. No, it should be back to Jake.
Wait, so it's just I get points for
Yeah.
David Villa.
No.
Oh.
Right.
Anelka.
No.
All time Champions League. Lampard.
No.
Atto.
No. Oh, sorry, I forgot to explain the rules properly. It doesn't really matter now because it's over. I was meant to say that you get 3 lives. If you get 3 wrong, you're out.
Well, that would have been pretty valuable.
So that was a pretty boring quiz. But I'll tell you the answers were Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Raul, Karim Benzema, Robert Lewandowski, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Thierry Henry, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Andriy Shevchenko, and Filippo Inzaghi. I think you got most of them, didn't you? It was Shevchenko, Inzaghi, and Lewandowski. I don't
Henry we didn't get.
Ryan did say Henry, but it wasn't his go.
Ibrahimovic, I don't think we got either.
Yeah, and Ibrahimovic.
He was my next one.
Anyway, Ryan wins the quiz that week. Well done, Ryan. That was quite a hard one. So
yeah, fair play.
Really showcased your knowledge there.
All right, so I think next thing we want to talk about.
Yeah, before we I'll leave them with a who am I?
Oh yeah, we're going to leave yous with a who am I, so you don't have to listen to us thinking all the time. It's time to hand it over to you.
Or just for 3 pointer, are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get
anytime.
So if you can let us know your answers on Twitter, in the YouTube comments, wherever, just give us a shout, and we'll give you a shout out on.
We need to give a shout out to the winner from last week.
Before we do this, we'll give a shout out to our guy that got it from the Twitter. Ideally, we want to get to the point where we don't have to post it on the Twitter and everyone's replying from the podcast. But we did get someone who got the answer from. It was Jack T. Jack T got the who am I?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
It was Cristiano Ronaldo. The who am I was I have played with Gareth Bale, Moise Keane, and Johnny Evans, and it was indeed Cristiano Ronaldo. So it's Jack T at Jack T01 is the
big up Jack.
So give him a follow. Big up Jack. Fair play, Jack.
Okay.
And we'll get on to Ryan's who am I this week.
For who am I this week is I have played with Fernando Torres, Javier Sonati, and Nico Crankjar.
Oh.
One more time, please.
Fernando Torres, Javier Sonati, and Nico Crankjar.
That's the poshest I've ever heard you speak.
It's a tricky one this week.
It is.
And another thing that we've done on the Twitter that we've wanted to have a talk about, it's caused a little bit of debate among us.
Definitely has.
Was the Premier League Team of the Decade. We've put out a series of polls for each position.
Can we just say first, we did this before Sky did it as well. We genuinely, we had this idea. What was it? Was it Sunday?
Monday
morning.
Monday morning.
It was something around that time. No fewer than maybe an hour after we started saying, putting the polls out, did Sky release theirs.
So
trendsetters. That's how I see the Route 1 podcast right now. Trendsetters.
We're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly.
We've let you add your say. We came up with our nominees and we've let you vote for each position. So we'll start off. Should we start off with the goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Where the nominees were Joe Hart, Alisson, and David De Gea.
I think De Gea won it, didn't he?
De Gea won with 55%. Yeah.
Alisson and Joe Hart should be nowhere near it.
I think honestly, the fact that Joe Hart got no votes is baffling to me. Alisson was my rogue shout just because I thought, get a Liverpool player in there more than anything. But Joe Hart getting nothing. He was so good for that first part of the decade.
Was he?
That first half of the decade for City, yes.
No, not half of it.
When they won the league,
this is the same. Sorry, can we just appreciate this is the same person that put Gary Cahill in this list?
I think we'll get onto that, but I don't think that's a bad shot.
I think Joe Hart should have had he's not gotten any respect there.
I think it should have been De Gea, then Hart, then Alisson.
Yeah. How much votes did Joe Hart get?
Nothing.
Thank you.
No, but that's the point.
I think people are very.
Are you trying to say something there, right?
I think if what these polls have proved, if anything, is people have very short memories in football.
Really are. I mean, to be fair, I feel like football fans now can only remember him for the Head and Shoulders advert. So it's that's always remembered.
I don't think anyone can argue that De Gea deserves.
De Gea's been class.
He's been the most.
Even though he has been,
he's dropped off slightly
for the last couple maybe
years.
Last 2 years, but you can't deny how good he is.
No. The saves he pulls off, I think.
Now, interesting one. There's been a bit of debate on this one here because I know my shout was Trent.
For the right back, this position is we had the nominees Cesar Azpilicueta, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Pablo Zabaleta.
Now, for anyone really disputed me wanting to put Alexander-Arnold in there, let me just explain myself a little bit because I feel like these two have been giving me a lot of stick for it. Now, you've got, obviously, I think the ones that missed out would have been Ivanovic, which I think, to be fair, could have went in for Zabaleta, to be honest. Or any of the three. Kyle Walker.
Should have gone in for Alexander-Arnold, if I'm
I
going to be honest.
I look at it and it's like the start of the decade, there was such a dearth of good right-backs in the Premier League, and it has been for years. Gary Neville's the only one that stands out as the best right-back in the Premier League decade. The Premier League era. And you've had, over the last couple of years, you've had such a abundance of good right-backs, like really, really good right-backs. You know, obviously, you got Trent, you got Walker, Wan-Bissaka's come through, you got this, even at the minute, like Max Aaron's, Azpilicueta's still playing, all these really good right-backs, but Trent is by far the best at the minute, and he has been for the past 2 years.
But not for the past decade.
No, but I'm talking, if you're going to base it on who's been the best player, you can't judge it between who's been world class and who's just been consistently good. Now, I mean, if you're looking at who's been the best player at their best, Trent, easy. He's the best footballer to have played right back in the past decade in the Premier League. That is my argument for it. And
I'm still not having it.
How? You're a Liverpool fan. How can you not say that he's...
But on his day, Antonio Valencia was probably the best right back in the league.
But he was never as good as any of them.
But I think you've got to play consistently.
He's been world class for 2 seasons.
For a year and a half.
For 2 seasons, he's been world class.
2 seasons. I'm not sure it's been 2 seasons.
World class.
A year and a half.
But if he's playing at like that level, I mean, look who's in his company at the minute. You got Kimmich. Literally, who else?
I'm not disputing that he's one of the best right backs in the world at the moment. But
you've
got to do it consistently. I don't think you can just choose a player on having just over one good season.
But then it's
how good they've been consistently over a period of time, and people like Zabaleta, Ivanovic, and Azpilicueta have been very good
only ever
consistently.
Very good. They weren't like the best in the world. That's what I'm looking at. It's like I think the argument's there for Trent to be the best in the world. Zabaleta was never the best in the world. Neither was
But if I was choosing the team of the decade in December 2012 when Antonio Valencia was in the form of his life, he was probably the best right back in the world.
But you haven't got that to look back on. Right now, you've got the value of the benefit of hindsight to look back on and see who has been the best player. I think if you're judging it on just who's been the best footballer as a right back.
So say Alexander-Arnold, say he has a I don't obviously hope this doesn't happen. Say he has a career-ending injury. His career ends right now. Do you still put him in the team of the decade because he had one good season?
I'd say at least 2. I'd say 2. He's been to 2. He's been to 2 Champions League finals.
But all right, say even if it's 2, you put him in just because
he's had one good and
just because at one point he was the best right back in the world.
I mean, the argument would be there for him, yeah. Would it not? I think I look at Walker and I'm like, overrated as fuck. Great athlete, he's not that good of a footballer.
But I think for a team of the decade, it's got to be someone that's been consistent over a long period.
Centre-backs,
yeah.
Anyway, centre-backs we had to split these up so we could get 2 centre-backs, if you know what I mean, and people could have 2 votes. So we went for right-sided centre-backs and left-sided centre-backs. On the right-hand side, we went for Vincent Kompany, Gary Cahill, and Nemanja Vidic.
I think the winner was pretty... I think the 2 centre-backs picked themselves, to be honest.
I would have a case for Vidic and Terry. I know it was back end of their careers, but you can still can't dispute what they've done in the early years of this decade.
I don't feel like this... I think last decade was their decade, though.
Vidic won a few league titles. Terry
he was, but he wasn't the monster
that
he was. As a United fan, you must agree that like Vidic, 07, 08 up to 010 that was his prime.
Yeah, but
you're
still a very good centre back.
He was good.
And won 2 league titles.
But I feel like you got Vincent Kompany there, who has probably been the best centre back in this decade. In terms of if you're going to factor in, like you said, longevity and being out of like a different class, then I think he's by far the best centre back that's played in this decade. And you got Van Dijk, who's, I mean, yeah, you might say he's only been at this level for 2 seasons now, but the fact he's being nominated for Ballon d'Ors and he's probably got a good chance of winning it, I feel like once you play at that level, like you've got to be considered. I
think the Van Dijk one doesn't bother me as much as Alexander-Arnold because of how much Van Dijk turned around your defence, and to do that as one player to do that,
he's been
pretty phenomenal,
sensational, hasn't he?
Again, though, John Terry, he wasn't happy with the Sky Sports one because
John Terry's got a good shout for being in there because I feel like he had stellar seasons in this decade.
Yeah,
I think
he played every minute of a Premier League winning season.
I think. Yeah, he's definitely got a shout for being there.
But again, you say Vidic was going downhill. Kompany probably was better prior to 2010.
Really?
I wouldn't say that.
I think Kompany definitely.
His last how many years has he been injury prone?
He's been injury prone, but I mean,
think about the league title season for the 2011-12.
Look at last season. He's injury prone. He's barely playing, and he goes and scores the goal. Pretty much cements them winning the league.
I think Kompany.
I think he's a shoo-in. I think he's like the one defender out of these that properly picks himself.
Yeah.
Left back surprised me though.
Andy Robertson, Danny Rose, and Leighton Baines.
Do you know what? Honestly, right? I think if you look at the left back choices there, I think in terms of the best player, I think Andy Robertson is the best player who's played at the highest level out of the three of them. But I think Baines has been disrespected a little bit there. The guy was class. You know what I mean? If Ashley Cole wasn't around, you talk about him as like the best left back that's played in the Premier League.
His free kicks as well.
Oh, Leighton Baines. I mean, it probably doesn't help that he played for Everton, but
so why has it changed now? Because for you, your opinion on this, why are you now saying Leighton Baines is better than?
Because I think
Andy
Baines
Robertson
was genuinely unbelievable. Like Baines was a really underrated footballer.
You don't think Zabaleta or Azpilicueta are very good?
No, it's not. No, see, this is where you're getting it wrong. No, I think that Baines is on the level of what Robertson is now. Baines was a brilliant footballer, whereas I don't think Zabaleta and Ivanovic. Sorry, was it Azpilicueta?
Yeah,
great footballers. They're not on the level of Trent's on now. Whereas I think Baines really was, and I think he was very. The fact he played for Everton really hindered his kind of reputation. Because if he'd played for the likes of us when we were struggling for a left back, the likes of yourselves, I mean, you needed a left back after everyone. He'd have been regarded as probably one of the maybe top couple of left backs in the league in the world.
I don't know,
maybe
but since 2015, I feel like he's been down. I feel like he had.
Yeah, he was getting
his
older.
His best times were before 2010 as well, or maybe just around 2010, and he started to go downhill since
I think
then.
Rose. I don't understand why Rose is in there.
Danny Rose a few years ago had like 2016, 2017. He was unbelievable.
He's shit.
For a small period of time, but then again, he's been about for years. Rose has longevity on his side.
He's properly fell off the map, and it's not like he's gotten old. He's
Well,
just.
we've had the likes of like Rio Ferdinand come out and say Danny Rose is the best defender he's seen.
Yeah, but I mean, footballers don't really talk that much sense. I've seen Steven Gerrard say that Joe Cole's as good as Lionel Messi.
on the Route 1 football podcast.
No, but seriously, I mean, I think I did a piece on it, the Liverpool's worst team of the decade.
And you put Lovren in it.
I did put Lovren in it, and I completely stand by that. But I think one of the comments that I found, which I've heard it before, and it was that Messi, I think it was Gerrard made a comment about Joe Cole doing Messi-esque things in training, saying he was as good technically as him. And he came to Liverpool and was absolutely dreadful. Like, football, Pele comes out and says madness all the time. Doesn't mean, just because you play in the sport doesn't mean you're the most knowledgeable.
Well, I'm sure Rio Ferdinand is not the only one who would have thought that 2016-17 season, but Danny Rose.
Honest to God, this is why... Right, Gary Cahill in this team of the decade.
Yeah, stand by it. Not in the team of decade.
Baffling. Baffling.
In contention.
He doesn't...
Deserves a mention.
If he gets in there, Martin Skrtel gets in there. What? No difference between them two players.
A multiple Premier League winning centre-back that's been a regular
that had his hand held by John Terry for how long?
You can't say that...
Oh, he did.
So if...
that's why no one rates Joe Matic.
Dejan Lovren should get his hand held by Van Dijk then, and he should be winning Premier Leagues.
And that's why I don't agree with how much respect Dejan Lovren gets. He literally... He looks terrible next to Van Dijk.
Yeah, but Cahill looked good next to Terry.
Yeah, but why does Matic not get the same recognition that Van Dijk gets? Because he's not as good as the defender, because he's getting played and getting his hand held next to the best centre-back in the league.
Whenever we were talking about Fez, you talked about David Luiz.
David Luiz, for one season under Conte.
Yeah, 1 season?
No, 1 season under Conte was probably their best player. But he was their best player, though.
Was
Arguably
he?
their best player behind
Was
Hazard.
he?
1 season.
Do you not remember how good David Luiz was under Conte?
I think you're doing Gary Cahill a complete injustice.
I think you're doing
For
him
1 season.
I think you're doing the Premier League a disservice putting him in there.
And you'd put David Luiz in for 1 season?
I don't think... I wouldn't put him in the team of the decade. I'd have honestly went for Vertonghen or Alderweireld.
Anyway, we'll move on to right wingers. We had the nominees as Riyad Mahrez, Mohamed Salah, and Gareth Bale.
No, there's a draw between Salah and Bale, wasn't there?
Yeah. Bale and Salah both got 45%, and Riyad Mahrez got 10%.
That's really hard to split, though.
Is it?
I think it is. You've got two players there that, for the time they were in the Premier League, both played around the same amount of game time, pretty much at that level. Both unbelievable footballers. Got Gareth Bale, who, at his best, was the best Premier League player for 2 seasons in a row?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
And then Mohamed Salah's arguably been in the same vein, but far more of a goal scorer. He's broke the record for Premier League goals. I think you deserve, definitely, they're both on that level.
Yeah, I'd put them both above Mahrez.
Yeah, I think for the amount of goals Salah scored, you've got to put him in there.
Mahrez is... it's one of them though, and I think
Moores
I know
deserves
you're
to
gonna agree
mention,
with
but he shouldn't be nowhere near.
It's
the
surprising
actual
that
team.
there's not been that many that have been consistently. Maybe Mahrez has probably been there consistently more than the other two. I don't know if yous that are listening can think of any others that have been there for the whole decade.
I mean,
consistently.
if you're going to include someone like Alexis Sanchez,
Andros Townsend.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. There's not like obviously in the last decade there was a Giggs that's been there, and obviously he played
Like
on
I
the
said,
left, but there's been a Giggs that's played there
I
regularly.
know he's more of a left winger, but
Yeah.
Alexis Sanchez,
Yeah,
he was consistently boss until he went to use. And
yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to centre mid sort of / defensive midfield. We had as the nominees Yaya Toure, N'Golo Kante, and Fernandinho.
I cannot believe we nearly forgot Yaya Toure
This
in
was
this
the
poll.
toughest choice for me.
Honest to God, I cannot believe we nearly forgot Yaya Toure in this poll.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's had that same tough choice between Toure and Kante.
I think Kante, as much as I love him as a footballer, he's not as good of a footballer
that
as Yaya
season
Toure.
Yaya Toure had where he scored. It was over 20 goals, didn't he? He got
Right.
phenomenal.
Arguably, he's had the best individual season as a midfielder that there's been in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That season, I mean, I think he was the only reason he didn't win Player of the Year that season is because Luis Suarez was in the league.
Yeah.
But God, he was a monster. You kind of mixing that ability on the ball with just that monstrous strength and pace. He was frightening.
Again, though, he did slightly tail off towards the end of his career. Sort of
I just don't think he could be
less
arsed.
mobile, yeah. And Kante hasn't. Kante's probably arguably been a bit more consistent than Yaya Toure.
But to be fair, though, you look at when they came to the Premier League, Yaya Toure came, 26-ish? I think he would have been like coming into his prime.
Yeah.
And N'Golo Kante came to the Premier League at 23, I think. So he was a younger player, and I think he's now still playing. I think he's that kind of player as well. I think he's always, for me, I think the only other player that comes close to what he does was Makelele back when he played for Chelsea. Genuinely such a good player.
Yeah.
Fernandinho didn't even get a vote, though.
I feel a bit harsh with Fernandinho, but I think alongside
He
them
can't
two,
compare to
you can't.
Fernandinho.
No, you really
Yaya
can't.
Toure was
As
a
good as he's
monster.
been. For centre mids and attacking attacking midfielders, we had as nominees Philippe Coutinho, Kevin De Bruyne, and David Silva. Again, I found this as a hard choice. David Silva, how consistently good
There's
he's
arguments
been
for
City.
all
Well, the
three.
thing is, though, I mean, I wouldn't say Coutinho's got the argument there. I think we put him in because he was the next best option, but I feel like as good as he was, like I look at that though, and I'm like, this is the argument that you are having with me, which is, do you go for consistency over a long period of time, or do you go for at their best who was better?
Yeah, it depends on the criteria.
Because
you're
at their
choosing it
best,
on.
Kevin De Bruyne wins that hands down, but then
Yeah.
consistency, David Silva's been the best.
I feel like
player
for
in
a
the Premier
team
League
of the
probably for the
decade, it's got to be
last- yeah.
consistency, because otherwise, at their best, like I said, random players have had sort of spikes where they've been very, very good for a couple of months.
But then
But
again,
that-
De Bruyne
no,
still has been around quite a bit.
Who's that?
De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I look at it though, it's like,
Yeah,
I think
true.
you've got to factor in almost like common sense when you're looking at stuff like that though. It's like, if a player has a couple of months like Papi Cisse back in, 2011?
About
Was it?
like
2012?
Michu had a good season. At his
But
prime,
then-
you'd probably have him in, like, not
But-
maybe team of the decade, but
But then you got to, like I said, you got to use common sense. It's like, what do these players then do after it? It's like Salah had one unbelievable season, and yeah, he might not be as good as what he was then, but you can still see he's world class. After that, Michu was literally the definition of a one season wonder. So it's like, I don't know. Who do you pick for that?
Yeah, Fez got 50%, so I think we should decide between the three of us.
Who would you go for?
I'll go with De Bruyne.
I'm going to go with you, De Bruyne.
Yeah, De Bruyne does it.
Actually, go back to the right midfielder because that was a tie as well. Who are you going for with that?
I'm going for Bale.
I'm going to go for Bale.
I'd have gone for Salah, but I'm not going to argue. It was so close. Like, I'm not going to.
Left mids, we had Eden Hazard, Sadio Mane, and Raheem Sterling.
Had to be Hazard, didn't there?
I'm surprised Hazard won that, to be fair.
2-time player of the year, was it?
Yeah.
No, one time, 2-time. He was unbelievable, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, but I think statistically he isn't. He's one of them players that's great to watch, but it doesn't.
I would have
always
went for Hazard, but if he didn't win, I wouldn't be casing a big argument.
I think he's one of the ones that's a shoo-in over the past decade.
Really?
He was.
Yeah, I think when you look back over the Premier League greats,
Yeah.
the real great, you Hazard has to be in there.
I think give Mane and Sterling a few more years because they're still. I mean, Sterling's got years to come yet, and Mane's still not that old either.
I'm surprised Sterling finished behind Mane in that.
I'm not, honestly.
Really? If Mane should be
I
up
think Mane's very underrated in terms of how he stacks up against the rest of the Premier League.
No, I
greats.
still think he's a fantastic player. But what's he had? Still 2 good seasons.
Manny, since he's came to Liverpool,
since he's been to Liverpool, he's been electric, mate.
Yeah.
How long's he been at Liverpool?
4 years.
3 years now.
4 years?
4 years, I think, yeah. Because he was Klopp's first, like, major signing, wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
This is his fourth year, yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
genuinely. But I think Hazard should have won that anyway, and he did.
And he was at Southampton before and got the quickest hat-trick and all.
Did,
so
yeah,
Manny's been about.
He has.
First, you forget how long he's been in Premier League, really, don't you?
I think he's going to be fuming with the fact Suarez is in the striker position, though.
Yeah, we had to split the strikers up again. We had Aguero, Kane and Vardy in one poll, and Luis Suarez, Diego Costa and Robin Van Persie in the other.
For me, that's right.
Yeah, I think Aguero's won it by landslide, and one of him and Suarez has won it by landslide on the other.
I would have went for
think you can
Suarez, but I think it should be a bit closer between him and Van Persie.
Yeah.
Nah. For me, I think you've got arguably the best footballer that's played in the Premier League in this decade in Luis Suarez there. Like, for me anyway. He was the what I think as soon as we said about doing the Premier League team of the decade, I think he was the first player I thought of. Honestly, God, like imagine how good we'd be now. Like, I think we'd be unbeatable if we had him in this team now.
Again, it's again that question of how long he was there for, though.
There for 3 years, world class for 2.
But then again, so
yeah.
was Van Persie. Whenever you go from 2010.
Yeah, I was going to say Van Persie. I think what he's been hindered by is the fact that his best years were probably before 2010, or he was hitting his peak around 2010. So he was on he was always going to be coming down.
I'm surprised Vardy didn't get a vote though.
Oh, but ahead of Kane and
No, I know, but even just like 1 or 2 shouts, because I think he'll go down as one of them players where it's like, yeah, he might not have played for the big boys, but God, he's a fucking...
I'm Jamie Vardy's biggest fan, but I figure Aguero and Kane would have something to say if he was ahead of him.
I'd have liked to know what would have happened if Kane, Aguero and Suarez were in the same poll. Whether Kane would have got more than Suarez.
No.
Just for the amount of goals he's
I'd be surprised. Honestly, I'd look at it as well. I'd look to see how popular Suarez would have been in that vote as well.
Yeah.
Because I think he could have won that ahead of Aguero.
I think it should be Aguero simply because he's been in from the start. Was it 2011?
Aguero's got both, and he's got longevity and he's got ability.
I think it goes Aguero, then Suarez.
But yeah, I think so. What's the team overall? And so it's what? Alisson. I think Zabaleta ended up winning it, didn't he?
We'll put a tweet out tonight. We'll draw up the whole team and see what you think of it. I know there was some shouts for at left back, which I know we discussed earlier, was Nacho Monreal.
Ooh.
Again, maybe a decent shout just for his consistency, but
then it's like, does Milner get in this team then?
Yeah.
It's
like hard.
It's that kind of thing. I look at it. It's like, who has been the best footballers in this decade? And I genuinely think that consistency is great, but I think did I say this to you yesterday, right? Oh, was it you? No, it was someone else I was saying this to. When you look at like the best players from like the previous decade, you remember the likes of someone like Ronaldinho, who he was only at that level for 2 years, 3 years. But then someone like Clarence Seedorf gets forgotten about a lot of the time when you talk about the best players from like the last decade or so. But he was right up there as well. But it's just the people you remember are the ones that properly wow you at the very top. So
it's a matter of opinions, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no right answer.
Except for Gary Cahill at centre back, there is a right answer. You are wrong, Ryan.
We'll move on.
I won't let that go. Genuinely terrible.
We'll move on to Premier League football that happened over this weekend. Some good games, some interesting games. But we'll start with, I think, the biggest one of the weekend, which was Chelsea City. And what do we think, Ryan?
It was a good game. Chelsea came out for blocks, didn't they? Went 1-0 up, and you really think, they could win it here with Finn City just gained control of the match. Well, saying that, I seen a stat, fair play to Chelsea if you give it for all and all. And that was Pep Guardiola's the least amount of possession he's had in a game at City manager.
You wouldn't expect that, would you?
Chelsea had more possession, didn't they?
Yeah, Chelsea are a very good attacking side, but you don't see them as a team that really dominates the ball, do you? Like you do with City.
I mean, I honestly, under Lampard, they play some nice football.
Yeah, they do. No, completely. They play some nice football. But someone
was it at City?
Yeah, at City.
Against
a team like City,
wow.
I literally have had years of perfecting the art of keeping the ball and starving teams in possession.
When I first heard that stat, I thought that it might be a case of Chelsea were at home, but wow, like, fair play, Frank Lampard, man.
Yeah, and they went ahead through Kante. Good goal from him. If he can add goals to his game,
Tell you,
what a player he could be.
genuinely.
It was just one of them bursts from midfield.
Do you see the goal? Honest to God, I think we'll touch on it a little throughout the podcast. The quality of goals this week's been so just dire.
Yeah,
it's just all been scrappy goals.
Yeah,
Mahrez's 2 games.
Mahrez's equaliser in this game was very good.
Oh yeah, very good.
Cut inside.
Look at the De Bruyne's though.
The old Mahrez. Yeah, but what can you do? Deflections, these things happen.
Oh, it just does make me laugh.
But it does show what level Chelsea are on at the moment to be really pushing City to very nearly getting something out of the game. I know they did lose in the end, but
I think, did we say about it last week as well? What would have been the ideal score for you out of that, right?
I wanted a draw.
I really wish Chelsea would have won,
Yeah. If Chelsea won or draw, would have been perfect.
As good as they are now, I still City are the big threat, aren't they? And it's
still looking over my shoulder for Leicester as well. Kind of hope they were slipping up before again, but came through against Brighton.
I don't know. I just think that as good as those two sides are, and I think even when you go back to when Leicester won the league, everyone kind of said this as well, that they'll tail off. But I feel like the gap in quality between us and City and the rest of the league, they shouldn't come anywhere near us now. Yeah, there's an 8-point gap now.
Aguero hit the bar in this game, but then went off injured.
Oh.
That could be a bit of a blow for them. I think he's out for about a month, which is typical of him. He always misses a month through an injury, which is a bit frustrating.
Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lose sleep over injuries like that.
Nah,
to be honest.
But when they've got someone like Gabriel Jesus to come in, it's not the end of the world. But I don't think Jesus is quite on the level of Aguero.
He's not. But then when you've got Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva and Bernardo Silva and Sterling
and Sterling could have scored in this game, but he had it ruled out by VAR. So your rogue shout from last week, Jade, definitely didn't come
trust
true.
me, that did not come true. Because like you said, we'll come on to the United game.
Yeah, VAR
ruled
it out. Basically, said Zuma was playing him offside, but if you look at it, Zuma's ass is goal side of Raheem Sterling. It's just one of them. It's just give it benefit of the doubt to the attacker.
Honest to God, it's proper. It's just jobs worths, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just weird.
All them people in the VAR things is he offside? Doesn't benefit anyone. That
no. Little fun stat from this game: Nkante scored with all 3 of his shots on target this season.
Lethal.
Not one you'd expect. Yeah. We'll move on to
United versus
the next one.
United.
For 70 minutes of this game, I was dreading coming on the podcast because I thought I was going to get absolutely shredded. But after turning it around, I was a little bit gutted we couldn't hold on for a win.
I was going to say, it would have been really kind of like a roller coaster of emotions for you because at first, like you said, you're dreading it. Then you're thinking, can't wait to come on the podcast and give everyone shit.
Yeah.
And then the last minute, it goes right back down to, I'm going to get bantered again.
Yeah. There's just so many talking points in this game, really. How Sheffield United look really good, but, we've praised them so much this season. We know how good they are. And they just made United look so pathetic. Every ball we had, we just looked scared to do anything, and we was getting muscled off the ball. Pereira and Fred is such a...
You just need someone there. You just need someone to come into that midfield.
You just need Pogba.
Such a dead midfield.
I think even with Pogba, you need someone in there because obviously I know you've been missing McTominay as well.
Yeah,
and he's been big for you.
Well,
this
I think
season.
Because we was missing McTominay, that's why we've gone 5 at the back because we don't have another holding midfielder.
Yeah,
literally, the only other one is Matic, and he's been mouthing off about Solskjaer on Instagram. So I don't think he's going to play again until we'll get rid of him in January. So we've had to play with Fred and Pereira, which is such the least intimidating centre midfield pattern you've ever seen. Fred's good alongside someone like McTominay, but someone like Pereira that's just giving the ball away consistently.
I think we have to give a shout out to Ryan as well there.
Right,
shout out to the
John
week.
Fleck.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
John Fleck scored.
And you could feel it coming, and within 20 minutes, John Fleck, which was Ryan's rogue shout for a goal scorer this week,
gets me a bonus 3 points in for predictions, right?
Yeah. But what preceded that was... Well, do you know what? I put a poll on the Twitter asking whether people thought it was a foul on Phil Jones. Mousse's barge Jones
Did
off
you
the
think
ball.
it was a foul?
The more I look at it, I actually don't think it's a foul.
It was
But funnily enough, at the time I was just a bit raging and thought...
essentially what? You've had a paddy and went, nah, it's a foul. It's definitely a foul, and tweeted it.
Well, do you know what's funny enough? The poll came out with yes at about 63%, I think.
How?
63% of people thought it was a foul on Jones.
Like, I watched it back yesterday, and I just thought, all that's happened is he's shoulder barged him, surely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he's just being weak, and he's just been barged off it, and Phil Jones can't stay on his feet because he's a donkey. Yeah, 63% of people thought it was a foul on Phil Jones.
Yeah, but how many of them do you think are butter United fans?
I think the majority of people that follow our Twitter are Liverpool fans, which is weird.
That is strange.
Yeah, but I don't actually think it's a foul. I think Jones was just very weak and got bundled off it, and he should not play for United again. Twanzebe was... I think the only reason Twanzebe didn't start in that game was because he's just come back from injury and Solskjaer said he wasn't ready. But if he ever picks Jones over Twanzebe again, I would be absolutely livid because he was woeful in that game.
Did you think it was... did you think the goal should have stood? Yeah.
What I've said is, I don't want to say whether I think it should have stood or not, but I think if it was Liverpool, it would have been disallowed.
What? Why?
Because of what happened in
your game. Because VAR pool.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Here we go.
I think there's a conspiracy going on.
All I'm going to say is, I seen it on Twitter the other day, and it harked back to, obviously, well before VAR was implemented. Right, do you remember that game we had against City around Christmas time when we were going for the league?
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling gets called offside when he's about 10 yards onside. We ended up losing that game, and we ended up losing the league by 2 points that season.
Yeah.
We have never had decisions always go against us. I think it's
even
just
earlier this season, Firmino's offside against Villa. If one against United, Origi's foul.
It is genuinely though, but it brings such joy to me seeing all the rest of the Premier League's fume.
Yeah, at the time, after Sheffield United match, I was actually texting Augie. And he was talking about if it was Liverpool. It brought joy to my face. He's rattled.
Because I was just looking at the Snapchats of you just pissing yourself, and it was great. Because I don't think you even said anything back. You just put not happy or something. Just you could tell he was not happy. Very upset.
I mean, I'm just glad we got back into that game. To be honest, I'll take a point at considering we was 2-0 down. Annoying that we did go ahead and threw it away again. Brandon Williams grabbing himself a goal.
That was, by the way.
Finish.
What a finish.
He actually wasn't that good in that game, but I think the system didn't help him at all. The way Sheffield United were playing with three midfielders, and a lot of it was coming down the right-hand side, and poor Brandon Williams was getting a bit overwhelmed and just had absolutely no options.
Well, I mean, I don't think
protection in front of him.
I don't think he's ever played against fucking overlapping centre-backs in the academy, has he?
I seen a thing you liked on Twitter, and I was a bit like, what? Is it some United page put up on about the mentality of Greenwood and Williams for not celebrating when we scored? Yeah. And go like, oh, they're so mature for age.
Yeah.
I don't think, who has celebrated?
Boring bastards.
What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
So... You're praising Williams for scoring when 2-1 down.
Yeah.
What? Obviously he's not going to celebrate.
Yeah, but Daniel James done it at the start of the year for United.
That just shows me they've got no passion for the club.
No.
See, that's what I mean.
I've got one.
I just seen a big Twitter post praising him for not celebrating. I'm like...
You score your first goal at Premier League level and you don't celebrate because you want to get back into the game. Look at Daniel James.
Boring bastards.
Look at Daniel James. That's what I'm saying. He's there. You can tell they're raised to be winners. And Daniel James maybe slightly, because he's come from a championship club, he was celebrating when I can't remember who it was against.
Yeah, I remember that and everyone talked for piss.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's something you should be
praised
for doing it.
Even the equaliser, Greenwood scored.
Yeah, fair enough, Greenwood. I was a bit minute. Okay. But whatever, I was like, what? Obviously he's not going to celebrate.
72nd minute, it's not like he scored, with 5 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go. He scored with, there's at least 20 minutes
Greenwood. It just tells me he's got no passion on. I'd be very...
Shut up. Mason Greenwood getting the score sheet again,
Yeah, I like Greenwood.
Outshining any of the other youngsters, really.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
Other clubs, Ryan Brewster can't get a look in at Liverpool.
That's because we've got decent
he's
players.
A waste of time. Just shows what happens when you put faith in your academy players.
I mean, you say this like we haven't got the best.
You said like we're struggling.
It's not even that. You say that like our right back isn't the best in the world right now, and didn't come from our academy.
Our winger has outscored both Mane and Salah and assisted.
And where has that got you in the league, Al?
Just saying.
We'll finish it off with 20 points gap.
Literally. Anyway, next game we want to come on to Wolves versus Bournemouth. Now, can I just say something now? if Adama Traore starts getting the end product consistently he's been showing the last couple of weeks, I'm terrified for the rest of the league.
Yeah, he's an absolute weapon, isn't he?
Like, honest to God, I mean, I know it was just like a cutback, but I mean, previous years he'd have skied that into Rose Ed somehow.
It's just his pace, and now he's got a bit of composure.
Like, that's terrifying for me. Like as a right, if he was to play right wing back for like any side in the Premier League and he gets a bit of end product, he'd be dangerous.
Yeah,
but yeah, two class goals from Wolves today.
Yeah, nice finish from Raul Jimenez. Yeah. Very good. I think he's just perfect for them, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd go to a team bigger than Wolves, really. There's no one else.
He's getting.
I don't know anyone else that's looking for a striker.
No, he's just about right for them. He's a very good goal scorer.
I think, to be fair, I wouldn't mind him. I mean, if he wasn't, I could imagine him being quite expensive now, but backup for us.
I love saying that, don't you? Every player. Oh, I'll have him at Liverpool. Harry Kane, we'll have him as backup. That Messi good at Barcelona, he'll come in behind Casey.
No, I'm being serious. I'm being realistic, though. Like, sign a player from lower down in the league, like, wouldn't he serve as like a perfect kind of backup striker?
Shaqiri.
Yeah, almost like that. I don't think he'd be happy to play on the bench, but I'm saying like that kind of player who he's got that mentality
he's too
of
good
like
to sit on the bench.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he would, but I think the price would make eyes roll if we were to buy him for that and keep him on the bench. But he's just got like that work rate, and he's like a B-Tech Diego Costa.
He's what Everton need.
Yeah, he is. But then are Everton better than Wolves?
No, I don't think he'd leave.
Exactly.
Wolves for Everton.
That's what I'm saying. It's like why would he go to Everton? Why would anyone go to Everton at the minute?
Yeah.
Absolute shit show.
Wolves are up to 5th. I know we've been criticised, well, not criticising, but we've been sort of pointing out their poor form this season because of the Europa League. But up to 5th now. We'll see what happens next weekend. So obviously we've got Europa League football in midweek.
Who have they got next weekend?
To 5th.
Sheffield United, isn't it?
Oh, if it's Sheffield United, I can see.
Maybe not. Yeah, Sheffield United at home.
I think they'll lose that. If it's, I mean, obviously we'll get into the predictions later, but yeah, Europa League will do them in a little bit again, I think. But yeah, like I said, Bournemouth. Okay, can we start a petition? Get Traore to Liverpool, back up, right back.
Yeah, I'd love Traore.
Bournemouth is still 11th though. I just think Eddie Howe's done everything he can with him.
Do you think he should take Faberton's job if it came?
I don't know.
I think he should.
I think he should, just to see what he can do with a bit more resources.
I think he'd suit Everton, but then
he is an Evertonian as well, is he not?
I don't know.
Have I made that up in my head?
I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, I mean, he could be.
When you just look at the strength of the teams around the top 10 now, it would be so hard for a team like Bournemouth to.
Would he not be a shout to go to Arsenal?
Yeah.
Maybe
I think it's time
Emery's
to take a step up.
Because I feel like Emery looks like he's going out the door soon. Because I don't think the fans like him. I don't think the board are particularly fond of him either. And I look at Eddie Howe and say he'll have so many good young players in that Arsenal squad. You know, likes of Saka, likes of Reece Nelson, you know, Maitland-Niles, even likes of Pepe and that are a little bit older.
Yeah.
But is it Willock?
Yeah, he's a good player.
Got some really good players. I think he'd work wonders there.
Just wrapping up on the Bournemouth Wolves game, a nice little stat that you wouldn't expect. 8 of Bournemouth's 16 Premier League goals this season have come from set pieces. You would not expect that from them, would you?
You say that they've got some nice little routines they've worked out, haven't they?
Yeah, true. I suppose the routines.
Yeah,
but
like I think Wilson scored one the other week.
When you think of teams that are banging in goals from set pieces, you think of your Stokes, your Crystal Palaces,
Burnley.
Yeah, your Burnleys. But
yeah. Well, hey, fair play to Bournemouth, man.
Yeah, I think there's no worries about them staying up.
No,
they're just a mid-table team, aren't they? That's all they are going to be able to
literally.
do, I think.
Next game is Jose Mourinho's first game as Tottenham manager, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think any of you were expecting him to win. Were you against West Ham?
No, I think I said that they'd win.
I did say 3-2.
Didn't I say 3-1 or 3-0?
Yeah, you said 3-1. I did say 3-2 in the first podcast, but then in the second I changed it. This was whenever Mourinho took over.
Like we said, right, that podcast.
Changed it to 2-0.
Right, we don't know what this podcast is that you're talking about.
I said to use earlier in the week it was 3-2.
This lost podcast that you're on about, it doesn't exist. It's gone. It's lost. But yeah, I feel like the prospect of him at Tottenham could be quite terrifying. You know.
I think they'll win a trophy.
Yeah, I think they will.
If he can get, because did you hear the quote he came out and said to? I think it came out in the media, and it was what he'd said to Dele Alli. Because I think first training session like that, he went up to Dele Alli and said, "Who are you?" And it's like, oh, I thought you were Dele Alli's brother. Start playing like Dele Alli now. Just say, like, you know, like, obviously, if you can get Dele Alli playing like he was a couple of years ago, bloody hell. They've got some players still at Tottenham, like.
But you wouldn't expect Mourinho to come in and... I know he hasn't had a chance to really implement his style or anything, but 3 goals away from home, conceding 2.
I feel like the players are just on best behaviour now.
Yeah.
They've got a new gaffer come in who's like a bit of a celebrity, and they'll just be there trying to impress him. Because it's like, I mean, Lucas Moura, did he start, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
He's going to be working his socks off to make sure he's in that team now.
Yeah. But that's a formidable front three, really. Son, Kane and Moura. If Moura can
really
play
is.
consistently well, like he's shown, like, I mean, his hat-trick in the Champions League semi-final last year, he can get goals. He's a threat.
Where do you think the problems need addressing, though, with Tottenham? Because obviously, do you think they need to buy players?
Well, Mourinho's come out and said he doesn't actually think they need to buy anyone. I mean,
next
I think he
summer
will.
will be big, I think,
next summer,
not
yeah.
January.
That's what I'm saying. Where do you think needs addressing? Because I think the only position that I could properly say, yeah, that needs sorting is maybe right back. And maybe
I think
holding
they could do
midfield as well.
another centre back. Sure, Vertonghen will most likely leave his contract.
But then I look at that as well. It's like, will he leave now Mourinho's there? Because if Mourinho manages to get all them players on side,
aging Alderweireld and Vertonghen, I think they need another young centre back in.
What, with someone to partner Sanchez?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I just think, I mean, to be fair, having a midfield base of Dyer and Winks ain't that great, though.
Winks is a good player, and Dyer is such a Mourinho love child. I can imagine happening that Mourinho's going to turn Dyer into a Nemanja Matic.
I don't think he's got the ability to play to be as good as what Matic was.
But
Winks is a good player, though.
Yeah. West Ham, though, they aren't looking great, are they?
Hey, Pellegrini's looking pretty shaky at the minute.
Well, my rogue shout was that Pellegrini was going to get sacked after they lose to Tottenham.
Yeah, it was. I don't know whether still got the rest of the week for that to come through.
But they've got a away trip at Chelsea next week, so that's more than likely going to be a loss, and I can see him
The players they've got, they are doing horrifically, aren't they?
They have got a good squad. I don't think that'd be a bad team to come in and manage if you
wouldn't.
Someone out of work at the moment.
Honestly,
Eddie Howe got linked to a festival.
Yeah.
Do you know what I look at though as well? They've got such a good base in terms of they've got some good players, like you said. They've got a few good youngsters and like Rice, and I just look at even Fornals has come in. I don't think he's too old either. But then
he's struggling really. But
he's a good player though. Like he's shown he's a good
got
player.
the ability, yeah.
But it's the stadium. They've got this big open stadium. They've got a lot of fans. Like that's got the potential to be a big club. Like and be like go to the top. And it's just it needs like you said. I think if Eddie Howe goes there, he's a good enough manager to get something out of there because they got the funding as well. Yeah. They have spent money. Like that Felipe Anderson weren't cheap. Neither was Haller actually either. I don't think so.
So they've got big money players, good players, but doesn't seem to be happening for Pellegrini. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the way out very soon.
Quick, I think you said that there. Quick question: do you think Mourinho will win silverware while he's at Tottenham?
Yeah,
I think he'll cup.
Yeah, he'll get a cup, FA Cup or a League Cup.
That's what we need. We haven't had a trophy in years.
No, yeah, exactly. Just it could
it's
like
15 years or something like that, and 12, 15 years that they haven't won a trophy.
It's becoming a bit of a hoodoo, isn't it, that they haven't won a trophy.
It's like us with the league, innit? It's like it's just that kind of like almost whip that you can hit us with, or stick that you can hit us with, even.
Yeah.
And and then speaking of us, we're just boss, aren't we? So there's no other words to describe. We're just good. Like
I don't think you are though.
the league.
There's
league
no
table,
other word to describe us. We're just good as you scrape past Crystal Palace.
Well, the league
thanks
tells
to a
very,
VAR call.
Does the league what story does the league tell though? Like
I know, but you can't just,
we don't lose games.
I know, but you can't just say we're just good.
But we are. Like that's the thing. Like I don't go into any game thinking. Like I was working during I think on the Saturday evening, and I looked at. I wasn't even scared. Like going back a couple of years, you're kind of apprehensive going, Palace away, bit of a dodgy fixture. I wasn't even worried. I seen the score 2-1. Oh, sweet. I don't expect anything less now. I'm kind of... Honestly, I feel like I'm getting to that point now where I think it's almost how you felt when you were growing up. Where it was like you just expect wins now. That's what this side's done to me. It's properly... It's changed my perspective on what it's like to support a football club. It's weird. But, I mean, I think you managed to actually watch the full game, didn't you, Ryan?
Yeah.
I didn't. I only watched the highlights, but I was listening to it a little bit in work as well. Well,
I'm not gonna lie. As soon as Palace scored, I was just like, you know what, we've deserved. We haven't done enough to win this game, but it's a case of what you think. I do get a bit more worried. Like when it was 1-1, I wasn't. You're thinking, oh, we're going to get one, but we did.
Yeah.
And I remember going up, and United would be in this position so many times.
Literally, innit?
And I'd be fuming. I'd be like, we can just hold on.
Yeah.
If I'd be playing like, who was it? Stoke.
Yeah.
Home. Like, go on, Stoke, just hold on. They'd always get it. And that's what this Liverpool side is doing.
That's what we have, haven't it? It's like that ability, that bounce back ability. Like it does. We've conceded pretty much. I think we've only kept one clean sheet. I think is it?
I was doing an article on this. It's 1 clean sheet in the past 11. 2 clean sheets in the league all season.
So we seem to concede every single game near enough, don't we? But it doesn't bother us. Like we'll concede and we'll then go. Okay, well then we'll go and score again. It's fine. I mean, Mane's just smashing it at the minute, and we're not even playing that well. I think that's the scariest thing about us at the minute. We're very functional, and the fact that if we can actually turn it on and play good football and kind of start going at teams a bit more, we could properly run away with this league. I think the potential's there. I'm not saying we're definitely going to win the league, but I think the potential is there for us to smash the rest of the season now if we actually start getting into.
It's getting past Christmas. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's getting past Christmas.
Yeah, definitely. If we can come out of December unscathed, we are in such a good position. But December's going to be tricky. Really, really tricky.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that Palace game was the start of just the start of it, really.
I think now, we've only got, I think pretty much every week now we're playing midweek, weekend.
It's good as a fan, but at the same time, it's not good as a fan. Like, it's not what we need, but like, it's just nice having a game to look forward to. It's great to always have
footy, but then
at
the same time, like I think we're going into every game now thinking like, shit, can we get it won by 60 minutes so we can
I usually love Christmas period because of so many games, but like we have too much. If City had the same, like I'm all for it. It's just like Liverpool have that little bit extra and you're a bit like, this club works. Like, I'm glad we in it. I'm so glad. I want to win this competition because we haven't won it before.
Literally.
But in a year where we're going for the league title, it's going to fuck us up, it seems.
It's hard, isn't it? It is hard. But what was I going to say then? Oh yeah, I mean, the sooner Joe Matip can come back, though, I think once he's back in that squad and he's back fit and playing, I think you'll stop seeing us being so leaky defensively. Honestly, and I know, like you said before, that I'm probably Dejan Lovren's biggest critic, but it just seems that every time he plays, we look so shaky, and there's a reason.
He did all right against Palace.
But I think he just brings unease. It's like, do you remember when like Mignolet had an all right game?
Yeah,
but he just brings unease to the rest of the team. I think it's that he's that last remnant of Rodgers' really shite defence. Because we've got rid of Moreno, we've got rid of Mignolet, got rid of Sacco, and it just seems that he's that last kind of reminder. I think I said like that worst team of the decade. I wrote he's like a star kind of symbol of what we used to be.
Ollie, what do you think of this? Me and Jake have had plenty of debates about Lovren. Personally, I'm not saying he's the best centre-back by no means or whatever, but I think he should be nowhere near for worst team of the decade for Liverpool. What do you think? What's your opinion on him?
I think there's worse defenders than him.
Yeah.
That have played for us?
Yeah.
I just want to, like who?
Coates
got it, I don't know.
Yeah. Kyriakos.
See.
Danny Wilson.
Yeah, but these lads, they didn't have the game time that Lovren's had. I look at it, it's like he's been given the stage. I mean, like
that's not his fault.
But he's been given game time for a reason.
But then he's also...
Coates went out and said it himself about he has weaknesses, but so does everyone.
But his weaknesses are like constantly on show. Like I look at, you go back to that Tottenham game a couple of years ago where he's played 30 minutes and they are honestly, I think it was Phil Jones level defending.
But I remember him...
I don't look at him as any better than Phil Jones. Genuinely.
Whenever he started in the first Champions League final against Real Madrid, I remember seeing him in the lineup and I was happy with it. I was like, he deserves to be there. Well, we'll agree to disagree, but I
just don't. I honestly
what is it? These Dejan Lovren and Gary Cahill, centre backs,
bang average defenders, bang average at best.
Well,
I'm talking obviously like this is in terms of like you comparing to the rest of the Premier League, but I think Lovren you'd be lucky to start for like a top 10 Premier League side. He's not great.
Anyway, going back to Crystal Palace game, what were your thoughts on the disallowed goal?
I honestly haven't seen it. Being serious. That's not me being funny. I just haven't seen it.
I did see it, Jake, but
I was in work.
I don't really know what to follow about it.
Sky Sports highlights are free.
Oh,
I just haven't seen it. I've watched the highlights.
Armchair fan.
I'm not going to lie. Whenever it first was ruled out, I was a bit like, like I knew you would have something to say about it. Put it this way, I knew this podcast would be a juicy one.
What
Like-
actually happened? Because like I have watched.
It
the
was,
highlights,
it was
but I
no
don't-
doubt it was a foul. It was a
Yeah,
foul.
it was a foul.
happened?
It's just for fact. You know what it's going back to?
What?
If you haven't seen it, you know what it would describe. Do you remember Leicester got the benefit of the doubt on Johnny Evans whenever he was fouled?
I
The
think
ball was
so.
going in.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wasn't near it,
Yeah.
and he got fouled. It was
Yeah.
a case of it. He was quite close to it, but whenever you're looking back
Yeah.
in real, like you might not know in real time, but whenever you've got all the angles, you slow it down. You say he's not getting to that. That's the case with Lovren. He wouldn't have got a big enough jump, I don't think personally,
Yeah.
to stop that goal from happening. But there's no doubt in the mixer there was a push.
The thing is, though, like you said before, this whole thing. I mean, VAR. It's been proven it don't work. Like it's neither here nor there. I look at decisions now. There's as many right decisions as there is wrong. It's not just. I mean, we've been on the winning and losing side of VAR decisions, but there's so many decisions over the course of a league season. Like you're gonna have decisions go for you or go against you.
Well, Olly,
So-
what did you think? I think I know this answer, but did you?
Oh
think
yeah,
it should
he'll
have been
think it's a
ruled out?
foul. Sorry, he'll
it
think
was a foul, yeah, but it's just the fact that it had no relevance to the goal going in.
I would just argue.
But then if it's
I
a
shouldn't have
foul,
said anything
shouldn't
yet.
it be-
But
No, but this
it
is
was
what-
a foul.
This is the point I made. Say if I'm stood on the halfway line, say Liverpool have gone down, you've scored, Origi scored, whoever, and I'm stood as Christian Benteke on the halfway line for Crystal Palace, and I shove Andy Robertson, he falls over on the halfway line
before the goal goes in,
before the goal goes in.
then it should be a foul.
Does that mean it gets disallowed?
Put it this way.
The play should be stopped at that point because it's a foul.
Hey,
Should
so
it not?
that-
No, should it not though?
Is that absolutely no relevance to the
So
goal?
say
going in?
Yeah,
in
but-
the
Or should it
Palace
get
match.
brought back? Should it get brought back and the goal disallowed?
If I look at it, it's like if there's been a foul and it doesn't like it's before the go. So say for example, it's as the goal's going in. So this is the scenario you're talking. If it's before that shot's being taken or as that shot's being taken, and Benteke decides to just deck one of the players on the halfway line, then yeah, it should be a foul.
Here's my
Well,
question
should
for
it
you,
not? 'Cause
Olly.
it's like
Definitely not.
So, right, see whenever that ball
there
was
should be a
crossed
stoppage
in,
in play as soon as that happens.
whenever that ball was crossed in, you know the push on Lovren.
Yeah.
Should the referee not be instantly calling for a foul, regardless of what happens
Yeah.
after?
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking of it.
But in the way VAR works, I just don't think that's enough to rule out a goal.
Then
Yeah, that's what I think.
That comes
I
back
think-
to how VAR works, though, and it's just it's so kind of inconsistent. That's why I look at it. It's like I don't even complain over the VAR decision anymore because I'm like, well, what? Like, there's no kind of gauge to measure it properly.
I think with that Palace goal, whatever the referee decided, it shouldn't have been reversed either way.
Yeah,
That's what I feel.
yeah.
but
But
at the
also,
end of the day,
I just want to say one more thing about the Liverpool match. Fabinho got a booking, which means he's now suspended for the next game.
who we got?
Because we've got a tough run, but we have Brighton at home. So if we
tell you
got
what.
to pick and choose which game he'd
Not
suspend
a
for,
bad
it
one.
would be
Do
Brighton.
you know, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Lallana comes in for that. You know, genuinely wouldn't be
Then
surprised.
Everton next week.
Playing holding midfield again.
Have to get the bribes ready for that one.
Right, well, we'll move on from Liverpool because we
yeah,
can't agree.
8-point gap at the top now, isn't it?
Yeah.
From Chelsea and 9 points from City, which is boss.
Well, was they the main games you wanted to cover?
Yeah, I
We'll have a
think
quick round
elsewhere,
for the
I
other
think.
games that we've missed. We didn't mention Leicester, to be fair. That should be one that we, considering they are second in the league, that's one we should be talking about, isn't it?
It is, but I think it's just a case of trying to cover everything because I think we spent a lot of time on the
Yeah,
decade,
yeah.
isn't it? So
But Perez and Vardy again. Vardy's on form and he's on fire. And they had their penalty had to get retaken, which is a bit frustrating considering James Maddison is in my fantasy team and he put in the rebound. But yeah, beating Brighton away from home, not an easy task really considering how they've been this season. They've been a decent side, but 2-0 and the Leicester hype train carries on.
do you know what though? I mean, even considering that game and obviously the result, is it Graham Potter?
Yeah,
Brighton manager got a new contract extension, didn't they? Till 2025,
Yeah.
I think it was. So proper long-term contract.
It's a bit early. I don't know.
And it is, but I mean,
that's a bit of a weird one. I didn't know that had happened, to be honest.
sure, it's either 2022 or 2025. It's a long contract, though.
He's doing a good job and all, but like I'm sure when he took over, he would have had like
They must
3
have a lot
years.
of faith with him, though.
But do you remember? This leads me back to remember Pardew at Newcastle was doing
No,
a
I
boss
agree
job,
with
and
that.
then he got such a long contract.
Yeah,
Look how
it
that
was.
turned
I
out.
think it only expired like last year. It's the same with the Moyes one at
I
United.
don't know how long Potter had. If 2 years, fair enough. But see if Potter was on at least a 3-year contract when he came in. No need for an extension.
Yeah, 6 months after being appointed, he's got an extension.
Aye,
What?
all I'd say is they clearly see something in him going forward, which,
Maybe they're just aware that maybe other clubs are going to start sniffing
Possibly,
around,
yeah.
and they just want to make it more,
Protecting
even
their
more
assets,
difficult.
innit?
Yeah,
but I think Everton, obviously,
they're looking rubbish under Marco Silva.
I love it though.
Again, what did we say? That they're always so inconsistent. They'll beat one team one week and lose again the other. Who did they beat the other week? Where Marco Silva sort of saved his job a little bit. Just give me a second.
Realistically, though, I don't think he's lasting.
No.
I don't think he's lasting November.
No,
I
the
think-
thing is, they're going to lose another game at some point, and as soon as they do, it sort of all stacks up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All the other losses stack up on top of that. So regardless of what happens in the next 2 games, if he loses the third game,
I think
he'll
the next
probably
game he loses, he's gone.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he was still in there, but like after the Norwich game, is surprising to me, to be honest.
Yeah, they beat Southampton the other week, battled to win over them. Everyone's, Marco Silva saved his job, maybe he will do all right.
2-0 at home by Norwich.
Arguably the worst team in the league at the
That's
moment, Norwich.
horrific.
Losing 2-0. It's not even putting up a fight. And they
Who
were,
do you think will come in and replace him? Because I know obviously Moyes is the bookie's favourite at the minute, but who do you actually think?
Not Moyes. What the fuck?
Yeah, Moyes is
Right,
such a
actually,
weird
give me
one.
a shout. Actually, so who do you think will replace Marco Silva once he probably goes, and who do you think should?
I think it'll be Moyes, and I think it should be Eddie Howe.
I'm back on with him.
I'd agree with you completely. Honestly, like at least
Who
that's something
else?
we can agree on, though.
Who else would be a shout? I've seen Gallardo for a River Plate manager linked.
And who was the former Valencia manager?
It begins with M.
Yeah,
I mean, Rogue shout to be Bayern's manager,
Kovac,
manager,
yeah.
Kovac.
Would he go?
But that's the thing, though. But I think Eddie Howe would be a good fit for Everton.
Yeah, I think
Just in
that's-
terms of
that would
the
be the
sense
right
that
sort of
they've got.
step up for him to give him
Yeah.
a chance with a bit more resources.
Yeah, definitely. But if they go back to getting Moyes, like they're just going to regress.
Well,
like,
Jake,
I'm
tell me
sorry, but-
first, do you want Marco Silva sacked before the Merseyside derby?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a very good question. Do you know what though? I don't think it matters. Honestly, don't think it matters. Every single time it's like when we play United. Every single game we have with them, regardless of what the hell's happening with both football clubs, it's a close game. And it's always the same in the derby.
It's not usually
'cause
at Anfield. The past 2 have been, but last year was, but the year before that.
But then
3-0, we've had 4-0.
But then, like, I always look at it, it's like, there's 2 ways you can look at it. Marco Silva might, if Marco Silva's still there, there'll be the whole narrative, oh, he can save his job, like, if he wins this, like, and then there's that build-up, and it puts pressure on us then to kind of not get beat by Marco Silva, who has been dreadful. Or then there's the new narrative of they've got a new manager, or they haven't even got a manager, and he's looking to get a scalp on him, like, on his belt for the first week, and it honestly doesn't matter. Either way, like, Everton's always going to be a tough game, so it's...
Anyway, moving on, because we have got our predictions in the Champions League midweek.
Stuff
Predictions to talk about. Arsenal drew, so that's another manager under fire with Southampton. Could have very easily lost that
You
one
could
as
tell
well.
when Lacazette scored, like, for players, no urgency.
Yeah, they weren't even bothered that they did
Do you know what
twice.
though? Like you said, Eddie Howe to Everton. Eddie Howe to Arsenal.
Could be another one, yeah.
Genuinely.
I don't know if they need a higher profile, more experienced manager.
Yeah, I think Howe would
Depends
be
how they want to
better
build them.
suited to Everton for now.
Yeah,
But was Solskjaer suited to United?
yeah, true.
I think he'd be great for Arsenal. I think I've seen people rumour Poch getting the Arsenal job.
I think he said
Not a
he'll never
chance.
match. He said
Not
came
a
out
chance.
and said. I'd
This is
never
one
manage
thing
him.
that's been linked with going back to Everton. One minute, Benitez. How would you feel about that?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd go. I think
Get more money to spend at Everton than he would at Newcastle.
I just don't think he'll go. He's got a really big affiliation with Liverpool still.
But
I know
then,
money
like,
talks,
Mourinho
but-
said he would never go to Spurs.
I know, but Mourinho's a prick. Like Mourinho's like,
But Benitez said in the past he would never go to Chelsea.
yeah, very true. You'd make a good point actually, but I don't know. I don't know why. Like as much as
I know, I'd hope not. I'd hope not.
yeah, like I still look back at Rafa with such fond memories.
Yeah.
Burnley beat Watford 3-0 as well.
Watford
They're looking
shit, aren't
decent.
they?
Burnley, Watford had a little revival.
They're just shit.
They won a game the other week, I think, but I don't know why they're so bad because they've not even got a bad squad really.
I mean, who's man? Is it still?
It's Kike.
Kike Flores back in
Kike
now?
Flores is back, yeah.
I mean,
I
I don't
thought
think.
because he didn't even do that badly in his first stint, but he just sort of had a falling out with the board. And
in a similar way to use, the way that club runs
it's
very
not great.
kind of volatile. I just don't think there's any security for anyone in that.
No, but Burnley looking decent.
Yeah.
In fairness, now they've not got Europa League to worry about.
Yeah.
Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes are a bit of a formidable partnership. A bit of the
Proper old
mid-table,
English centre forwards, aren't they?
you
don't
don't
say
see-
not English, but that's like this. That's
You don't see them going any bigger up, like
No.
They're just a nice mid-table partnership.
yeah.
Proper like you
And
said, like
the
old
game
English
last
centre
night,
forward style of play.
Aston Villa Newcastle. Aston Villa won that one 2-0, and I think they'd gone quite a while without a win.
Yeah. Can I get your thoughts on what Carragher said about Jack Grealish? He came out and basically said, I think it was on the Monday Night Football, and he's basically made a comment essentially saying that he's got qualities that players at City and Liverpool, like the front three at both of those clubs, don't have, and they'd be essentially saying that he'd be a very good signing for the likes of us in City.
Also, I think under for right manager, Grealish could be a really big force to be reckoned with.
He's a very good footballer, isn't he?
I think he deserves an England call-up. He does have competition in the likes of the Madisons, for Mounts and all,
Do you
but I
know
feel
what,
like
though?
Grealish does deserve a call-up.
Can I just say, imagine the thought of how much piss boiling we could do with him and Harvey Elliott in the same team. Just think of how much everyone would hate us with those two in the same team. Because everyone would literally, like, I could guarantee they'd score a goal and start two-stepping to celebrate. They'd just be pricks, and I'd love it.
Okay, would you like Grealish at United?
I think he's a good backup option if we can't get Maddison.
Yeah.
I mean, Maddison's got to be our first.
So,
choice in the
like,
summer.
you say Madison was out of the radar, or if United went out and spent 50 million on Grealish for
Yeah,
summer.
I think I'd take him.
Yeah?
I think he is a good player. I think he'd still have a lot to prove, and I think he'd have to
Do you think he'll leave Villa?
improve his goal contributions because he doesn't get enough goals and assists.
Yeah.
I don't think for a top level team at the moment. But then again, he is playing for Aston Villa. So
Do you
Going
think he'd
back,
leave Villa, though?
go on to you, Jake. Like, he's been
He's
loyal
a
to Villa for
boiled
Chelsea,
Villa
but
fan,
at the
isn't he?
same time, can you really
I know.
say no to
I
United,
know.
Liverpool?
But he's proper. He is Villa through and
yeah,
through,
he
isn't he?
can't. I don't think he can stay there for his whole career. It's not. A
Maybe
team.
not, but then there's been players that have done that, and it's
Not someone
like,
of his ability can
Yeah.
stay there for that long.
I don't know. I've seen players do it, but I think if he wants to properly make it, like, I mean, I thought he'd go Tottenham a few years ago, to be honest. Like last season,
If he has a
before.
good second half of the season, then
I
think he's well within his right.
without Ollie jumping on the, you'd have him as well. Yeah, no, I would have him at Liverpool.
A big thing for him as well, if he performs to this level, like a good level for the rest of the season, and he's still not getting looked at by Gareth Southgate, he is going to question whether he should start moving.
Yeah.
His eyes are going to wander.
Oh,
no
definitely.
doubt.
So moving on to the Champions League stuff.
I'll let you start with that because that has got nothing to do with me.
What do you think? How do you think he'll line up against Napoli? Klopp?
I think he's going to look at it as in near full strength.
Do you reckon?
I think he might rest Salah, maybe.
So do you think Origi will come in?
Or Ox again. Ox was playing that weekend.
Yeah, he was actually. Right.
And yeah, I was happy enough.
I think-
But Ox was didn't have a world day, but then again,
Yeah.
whenever he came off, you're like,
He's always good in the
Ox,
Champions
good
League,
shift,
though, isn't he?
good shift. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, bit of a goal scoring run. I'd rather see Ox than Origi start.
Do you know what though? I think Fabinho is going to start for
Yeah.
definite because he's not going to play at the weekend. And
I don't
then
see. I see maybe Milner coming in.
possibly.
I don't see
Although,
Keita.
It's one of Keita's. He's starting to get. I'm getting to the point with Keita where I'm like, you can see there's a player there, but it must be like used with Fred.
Fred's better than Keita.
But it's that frustration though.
Yeah.
It's like there's a player there, but he doesn't show it often enough. It's so frustrating. But how do you see it going?
I'd like to think. I think a big thing as well. Napoli's in crisis. Like, we need to take advantage.
We don't beat Napoli the way that
I'm pretty
the
sure
problems are
if
having.
we win, we're through. And I would like to go into that Salzburg game knowing we
That we're
don't
through.
need to win. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Because we
have
can
that
rest
scenario.
players. We need to win this so we can rest players in that Salzburg game.
So I think get the job done.
'Cause it don't matter if we
tomorrow
go
night.
through first or second, really.
Yeah,
as long
no,
as
it
we go
doesn't.
through, I'm fine.
Yeah. So just get it done tomorrow night.
And then obviously
days.
the other big teams that are playing. Well, obviously.
What
the
do you need
English
to
teams.
qualify, by the way? Or are you
I think we just do need a win.
a win
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're through. Okay.
The other English teams are playing. Obviously, City are playing Shakhtar. I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, Shakhtar
I think
away
it's Shakhtar.
for fourth time in the past.
Literally,
fucking-
like that is just—it's a perennial Champions League fixture at the minute.
And they very regularly beat them. Don't
Yeah,
they?
but it's
So,
not even
at
like
home.
It's smash
About-
Shakhtar.
2,000 fans will turn up. Half of them will forget which way to look. And it'll be 7-2.
Do you know what is interesting though? The fact that Spurs have got obviously Mourinho's first Champions League game for Spurs.
First game at home as well.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a decent game to watch.
Olympiacos. I mean, even with Spurs under Pochettino, you'd expect them to beat Olympiacos. Like obviously towards the end.
But if he thumps Olympiacos there, that could be a bit of a feel-good
Really
vibe
could do.
already under Mourinho. Like
Yeah.
maybe a few of the doubters that weren't sure about him. If he thumps them 4-0,
Yeah.
Could be a little bit of excitement growing around Tottenham. And Chelsea away at Valencia.
That group is really tight at the minute.
Yeah,
I know
both
Rob
on
was saying
7
last week on the
points.
podcast, wasn't he? Shout out Rob Clifton.
Yeah, the top 3 teams are all on 7 points, I think, aren't they? So they need.
Have they
a win.
lost to Valencia as well at home?
Yeah.
It's not an easy place to go, the Mestalla.
It's not.
So that could be an interesting
But I
game
know-
to watch.
Good watch. Yeah, good watch.
It's one of them as well because it's like potentially this could kind of set the like shape of that group up really nicely for the last couple of fixtures.
Yeah.
Because I think obviously if Chelsea win and Ajax, I mean if Chelsea win, I think it's between them and Ajax for like who'll qualify.
Yeah, if Chelsea win, they'll be on 10 points.
Because
Ajax are probably going to beat Lille. But you don't know. That's not.
Who's at home?
Even if that happens though, Valencia can still go through. That's the maddest thing.
It depends what scoreline Chelsea
Lille-
get, all the head to
That
head.
group's really interesting.
Ajax are away at Lille, so if Lille come up and beat them 1-0, something like that,
That's what I mean. Like, that
close
group's
it
so
wide
open.
open and Chelsea and Valencia draw.
Who's
Definitely gonna be
Chelsea's
keeping an
final
eye on
match?
that
Is
tomorrow.
it Lille away?
No, Lille are out.
Lille-
Actually, Lille
Lille-
can't get through.
No, it's not even Lille, but it's between those 3 teams.
Yeah.
Really open.
Who is Chelsea's last match? It's Lille at home, isn't it? Lille at home?
No, is it? I feel like have they played Ajax
Yeah,
twice?
Lille at home.
Lille at home, yeah.
You're
You're
right.
back from the...
Have they
Yeah,
played
Lille
Ajax
at home.
twice? Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
I think they'll qualify. Chelsea.
Apologise for me high
It's
pitched
just
voice there.
who qualifies with him. And moving on to the bigger European competition, the Europa League, for the best teams around Europe.
I mean, there's a bit of a feel good story for United, isn't there? With
Well,
that Max Taylor.
Do you know what? Until I've just clicked on the article just now, I knew that he was taking a load of youngsters, but he quite often does to the Europa League games, and they don't always play, and they just come for like the experience. But he has literally included 14 teenagers out of the 18-man
Wow.
squad.
Whoa,
Really?
fair play.
That's pretty. I've never
That's
seen anything
ballsy,
like
that.
that. Really.
He
We
really
have
was-
already qualified,
But
and
still, though,
do
like,
you know what I was thinking though? Looking at it, it's one of them where because it's the Europa League and there's so many sort of decent teams, or like medium to decent teams about. It doesn't actually matter where you finish in your group. Even if you finish top or second, you could
Yeah.
quite easily end up with a decent team. Like teams that are in second: Dynamo Kiev, Getafe, Standard
World
Liège,
beaters.
Lazio could potentially finish
Rangers,
second as well.
Lazio, Wolfsburg, Mönchengladbach, Wolves. Like you could quite easily end up with a decent team in the round of 32. or whatever it
Literally.
is. So,
I'd love to see a Scottish team versus English team.
but do you know what I'd love to see if we start a team with all teenagers.
yeah.
I feel like he's got to include. I mean, I feel like Grant will start, won't he?
I feel like Lee Grant. That's an
Stick them all on with Ashley Young.
Actually, Young's not even in the squad.
Oh,
He's
is he
not.
not?
Luke Shaw's the only.
Luke Shaw's the oldest defender at 24.
I think he's the oldest outfield player, isn't he? Oh no,
Yeah.
Lingard. Well, I mean,
Lingard's
actually, no. You
26.
say that Lingard's 20 years of age, isn't he?
That's funny.
So-
Lingard with all the kids. All the midfielders are teenagers. All the attackers are teenagers.
Lingard's just like their older brother.
I'll
Really.
tell you the players that I want to see. Max Taylor, I think, just because it's a nice story, he's come back from surviving testicular cancer, which is unbelievable to come back and play.
Do you
for
think that
United
Ethan
after
Laird
that.
will start?
Ethan Laird is arguably better than Brandon Williams, and I want him to start because he is such like a powerhouse. He's like a proper pacey, strong fullback, and he can play
Yeah.
left back or right back. I think Twanzebe's got a shot. He's got to start. The two centre backs, Mengi and Bernard, are both big physical centre backs as well. Either of them, I'd like to see them get a go alongside Twanzebe. Dylan Levitt's been tearing it up, and so has been Galbraith for the under 23s. Gomez has to start.
Chong comes
And
to that as well.
up front, there's a lad, Largi Ranzani. He looks like a player. He scored.
Would you want them ahead of Greenwood?
Oh, him and Greenwood. If we
Both
play a
of
front
Like
three.
I said, I
play
think.
him-
Do you reckon Chong
play-
will start?
I think Chong will have to start. Chong, Ramzani, and Greenwood. I'd love to see that.
But I feel like he'll play.
And-
I think if he's brought Shaw and Lingard, they've got to start.
Yeah.
Surely. Because
Do you
I
know
feel
what-
like what's the point in bringing them
Do
up?
you know what I
on
love about that Ramzani though? He scored for the under 23s the other day, and he's done a backflip like a nanny backflip.
Oh, really?
I absolutely
Oh.
love
Who
that.
is it user playing?
Astana.
Away?
Yeah. So it's not an easy place to go, but they have scored one goal the whole competition and conceded 30.
It's a very good experience. I'm glad. that-
Who have Wolves and Arsenal got?
Just bear with me. But that could, if we even whatever happens in that game, I'm just happy that we get to see the youngsters, and it's kicking off at about 10-4 or something stupid like that.
Arsenal got Frankfurt. Oh, Frankfurt at home.
Well, Arsenal have qualified, have they not? More or less.
I mean, I know they
Yeah.
might have qualified, but it's a tricky. I mean,
Home against Frankfurt, they beat them away from home though, didn't they?
they're a good side, Frankfurt. Still, to
Yeah.
be fair.
I
Didn't they
wonder-
put, didn't they put 5 past Bayern not too long ago? Was it Frankfurt?
Was it Frankfurt? Potentially, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was Frankfurt. 'Cause I'm pretty sure there was the whole thing of, it's not even Frankfurt with Rebic and Jovic and stuff.
Wolves are away at Braga. I think that's a game they've really got to win.
That's a hard game as well.
Yeah,
Braga
it's
are a good side.
Not an easy game. Not an easy place to go. I think
But-
Braga are top of their group.
I think we're getting towards the end of the podcast now,
Yeah.
ish. But obviously before then, a few little news stories, feel-good stories as well. The keeper goal.
Yeah, I retweeted it on the Twitter.
Yeah, that was
Some-
a bit mad, wasn't it?
I'm not sure what country it was now, actually, thinking about it. But all I can remember is that he had number 4 on the back of his shirt. It was Mexico. Yeah, Mexico. Wearing number 4 as a keeper.
That is
Heinous crime. that.
literally.
But do you think that's actually that hard to do if it is an open goal as a keeper? A professional goalkeeper that practices their kicking.
Yeah, I still think it is.
I think it's still an achievement to
days
score
goal.
from your own box.
Yeah, it's still an achievement, but I think with an open goal...
You got to remember as well, it's
The
like...
pace on it now.
It's like, especially, I mean, you look at it back there, like, there's players running after it as well. To keep enough pace on the ball to keep it going, like,
Yeah.
it's hard enough. And then I think, other than that, Robbie Savage making a return to football at age 45. Wow.
Yeah, I like that though. He said, like, I'm not doing it as a PR stunt. I'm genuinely just trying to help the youngsters out at Stockport Town and have a game. So.
Yeah, hey, fair play to
Fair
him.
play, what-
I mean, I know people don't
I
like
like
Robbie
Savage.
Savage.
Yeah, I think if that was me and like you've been retired from football to and you're missing it and you've been playing professionally,
surprised.
You give someone like Stockport a ring and be like, "Can I have a game?"
Well, I feel like as well, like you said, it'd be so good for the youngsters. Like, imagine
Yeah.
all these young kids that, I mean, they're not playing at like a top level, right? Like,
Yeah.
just being able to play alongside someone that's played in the Premier League,
Yeah.
albeit not very successfully, but
Yeah.
like, fair play, man.
No. Anyway, Ryan, predictions for this week because
Yeah.
we're running a bit close to the wire now.
Yeah, we'll
So-
run through them. Well, last
What
week...
did we get last
Yeah,
week?
last week it was... Jake, you were the only one to get a perfect score in the Wolves
Come
2,
on.
Bournemouth 1. You also predicted... Where am I here? Sorry. City to win and Spurs to win, so you got 5 points in total.
Hey.
Augie, you also predicted City and Spurs to win, 2 points total. I predicted Sheffield United and United draw and Spurs to win. Fucking 2-0, not 3-2. So I got 2 points, and Rob predicted Villa to win, Spurs to win, Wolves to win, so for Fister just get 3 points. But need to add in Big John Flax, 3 points for me.
Yeah, fair play.
So scores overall now is I'm on 23, Jake you're on 21, Visitors are on 3, Augie you're on 18.
I thought you were going to say the visitors got more than the way you said that.
I know,
I say Oggy is
yeah, I
slacking.
did that poorly, but yeah.
See, if John Fleck hadn't have scored, I'd be at the fucking top of the table now.
Yeah, but Sean Black's an absolute baller, so unlucky.
Fucking okay. So what are the games you picked for us this week?
Right, this week it's first up Leicester Everton.
Oh. I'll let you go for
Leicester at home.
Leicester are at home. That's why I said them before Everton.
I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester. I just think because of how inconsistent Everton are, they'll actually put up a fight against Leicester, but I think Leicester are too good for them.
3-1 Leicester.
I'm going to go for 3-0 Leicester. And it has to be the end of
They're going to keep rolling on a Leicester.
right before
I feel
Merseyside.
the same as you, but at the same time, I don't think they're good enough to put up a fight against a team
Yeah.
like Leicester, especially the form.
It's just mad that every game Leicester go into, we're just like, they're probably going to win.
They're such a good side, aren't they? I'm telling you.
Next up, Chelsea West Ham.
Ooh, Chelsea. I think 2-0 Chelsea.
4-1 Chelsea.
Oh,
I'm going to bounce back from
I'll
that
go for
Leicester.
2-1 Chelsea. Newcastle, Manchester City. We know if we slipped up last year.
Yeah, true.
so Newcastle are at home to City.
Yes, hence why I said them first again.
Okay, no, I'm just making
I'm
sure.
go-
I'm making
I'm gonna-
sure so we're clear.
I'll go for 2-0 City.
2-0
No
City
slip
for
ups
me
this
as well.
time.
I'm going to go for 4-0 City.
Ooh,
Newcastle are just shit.
I don't think they're that bad.
Wolves, we were talking about earlier. Wolves versus Sheffield United. Whew.
That is a tasty game. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 2-0 Sheffield United.
I'm saying 1 apiece.
I'll go 2-2.
I just feel like Wolves, it's the Europa League thing's playing a factor for me. They're always poor after being in Europe on the Thursday, so...
And my pick of week, you might think, mine's pick of week, but I don't know. Interesting for me, Norwich versus Arsenal.
It's not an easy one to predict, really, is it?
It should be, but...
I'm going to go 1-0.
I'm going to go for 2-1 Arsenal, just about get for win.
Sorry, carry on, Jake.
I'm going to put a rogue shout and just say 2-1 Norwich. Pukki's going to score again.
Is that your rogue shout for a week?
No, tell a lie. I don't think that's not going to be my rogue shout, as in Pukki scoring. I think Cantwell's going to score. That's going to be my rogue shout. Rogue goal scorer. Continuous scoring form, because Cantwell's a bit of a baller. But
I'm going to go 1-0 in that game. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Norwich Arsenal, and Emre's going to get sacked.
hey, is that your shout for the week?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. My rogue shout is going to be Gabriel Jesus will get a brace against Shakhtar.
Ooh.
Oh, going continental there, bro.
I was going to say hat-trick, but if he did get a brace, I'd be fucking fuming. I don't want to be angry at a podcast again, so I'll stick with a brace.
Okay, I think that's kind of all we've got time for, really, innit?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Again, let us know if you have been listening to the podcast, you have been enjoying it. Hopefully, the views did go down last week because I know with a bit of disruption with not being on the Twitter and not getting the podcast out on time.
Yeah.
I know that affected it, but now we've got it out on time. Let us know if you have managed to have time to listen to the whole thing and you have enjoyed it. Let us know if there's anything that you'd change, and give us a follow at Route 1 Podcast, at Route 1 _ podcast.
Check out Merseysport Live for
Check
any
out
articles wrote by ourselves.
Yeah, and thanks for listening, and we will see you again this time next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.